Guys, what is going on? Literally, what is up? Hey, Brent Abel here with tennis.com. Yeah, another episode of What's the Right Shot, number 522. Look, what I've got for you today is the reality that it's not always literally serve and volley, right? From time to time, that return ends up short, and we got to choose the right shot for it. Look, is it going to be a volley? Is it going to be a half volley? Or maybe you're going to let it bounce and get up and get some really good geometry to play whatever is your next shot choice. And in this case, yeah, that's what happens here is I've got several shot choices, right? I could take this thing after it bounces and maybe play a little chippy backhand over to the alley. Maybe I play it back to the returner's feet down low and move in. Do I try to bisect the two of them? I don't like that shot in this situation. I'm going to tell you why. And yeah, from time to time, you get a returner's partner who does not move off their service line. I don't mind taking my little shot here if that's the case and just low and slow kind of feathering it down to their feet, creating some really bad geometry for them as I move in and join my partner up a net. And or do you take this thing up the line? Again, I'm not so sure about the shot choice in this situation. Guys, let's get into all of that right now in this episode of What's the Right Shot? Well, hey guys, before we get started with today's episode of What's the Right Shot, I want to give you a heads up. Look, I've updated my course on serve and volley in doubles, and I've got an explainer video right down below. There's a link that you can click and go check out what is in this course. There's a masterclass plus 6 bonuses. I've also got a really special price for you, an offer that is good until this Sunday night, November 24th at 11 p.m. Pacific. So if you're still struggling a little bit with any of the aspects of serve and volley doubles, whether it's the serve part, whether it's the transitional shot part, or maybe it's that next shot, that third shot, I want you to check out what I've got for you. That link is right down below. Click it and you'll be right over there to the explainer video. All right, guys, let's get into today's episode of What's the Right Shot. And yeah, the first thing is the reality that serve and volley is not always literally a volley, right? Sometimes it is, sure. And sometimes it's a half volley, but other times the right shot to play is to allow this short return to bounce up and give you some better geometry over the top of the net. Because if you come in and volley this thing, not letting it bounce because you've been told it's literally serve and volley, you got to move through this no man's land area here. You never want to get stuck in there. You always want to avoid shots in there. Yeah, the reality is you're going to, and that's okay. You're going to play shots in here. And in fact, if you were to volley this ball, or if you were to sort of half volley this ball, now you got some pretty bad geometry up there, right? You're down low. You got, obviously you got that returner moving in. And if you don't feather this thing perfectly, it's going to be it could be trouble. So my preference here is to put on the brakes, let it bounce up, and now go, okay, well, what's my shot choice here? And, in the intro, I mentioned 2 shot choices I don't really like here. Number 1 would be to take it here in the middle. The reason I don't like that is because that ball is going to travel in front of the returner's partner. And if you don't hit it dead perfect, especially if that guy decides to move up, you got a problem, right? And if however, the return was somewhere like over here in this part of the court, different part of the service box, more towards the tee, now the middle's a real possibility, right? Because it's not traveling, your shot won't be traveling directly across in front of one of the players, right? So that's shot choice number 1 I don't like. Number 2 is I don't like going up the alley here because if that returner's partner anticipates it, guesses it, or you don't hit it dead perfect, yeah, I mean, as you can see, it's the lower 40 is wide open right here. So I don't like that shot choice. So for me, it's one of 3 choices. Do I take this back cross court into that returner's alley? Maybe I play more of a approach shot down to their feet, that returner's feet. Or in this case, and I think I mentioned this to you before in the introduction, is that once in a while you get a returner's partner that just doesn't like to move up off that service line. And sometimes I've got no problem just taking this thing low and slow, right down to their feet, moving in, creating some really bad geometry for them. And yeah, there you go. So look, whatever is your shot choice, one of these three, you've got to decide right now what it's going to be, because you want to fully commit to it. And if you're kind of going through that sub menu of the 5 shot choices, trouble, you're never going to commit. So pick out the one you want early and prep the racket early so that those guys over there don't know exactly what's about to come, right? They don't know exactly which shot you're about to play. And for me, for whatever reason, I just decided I'm going to get around the outside of this with a slice backhand. Going to carve around the outer part of the ball and just take this thing, and there you go, into that alley. Does it always work out this well? Of course not. But in this case, it does. So, look, guys, let me play this thing real time, and hope this makes sense, right? Number one, not always serve and volley. And then number two, what shot choice do you immediately want to choose? And it could not always the right one. You know, what's the right shot choice is a little bit hypey. Sometimes it's the shot choice that just doesn't work out. That's okay. Don't worry about it. But there you have it. And right now it's time. We got to get out there. We got to help someone else have a spectacular day, guys. See you again next time.